The political climate in the US has become increasingly volatile. Travelers need to be aware that what starts as a peaceful protest can quickly turn into a dangerous situation, especially in urban areas.
Another concern for travelers is the issue of indiscriminate arrests and expulsions. Reports have surfaced of foreign nationals being detained or deported without clear explanations, often due to heightened security measures or political motivations. For travelers, this means navigating a complex and unpredictable immigration system.
I've heard from so many people who've had their trips disrupted because of sudden changes in immigration policies. It's not just about having the right documents anymore. It's about being prepared for the unexpected.
So, what does this mean for you as a traveler? First and foremost, it's crucial to stay informed. Keep an eye on travel advisories from your government and reputable sources. Consider alternative destinations if the risks seem too high, and always have a backup plan in case your trip is disrupted. Here are some essential tips to keep in mind while planning your travels. Monitor travel advisories regularly. Avoid areas with known political unrest. Keep copies of important documents. Purchase comprehensive travel insurance. Stay connected with your embassy or consulate. The situation with green cards and visas has become increasingly unstable. Reports indicate that green cards and visas are being revoked without prior notice, leaving many in a state of uncertainty. This has caused significant distress among immigrants who have built their lives in the US, only to face sudden deportation. Families are being torn apart, and the fear of the unknown looms large over many who once saw the US as a land of opportunity. Mass deportations have become a troubling reality. Many individuals are being deported without due process, often without the opportunity to defend their case. The emotional and psychological toll is immense, as people who have spent years building their lives in the US are forced to leave everything behind. The current administration has shown an inclination to make changes to the Constitution, despite not having the necessary powers. This has raised alarms about the potential erosion of democratic principles and the rule of law. The disregard for court orders to cease such practices, the firing of civil servants, and the dismantling of regulatory bodies further exacerbates these concerns. Legal experts warn that such actions could lead to a constitutional crisis, undermining the very foundations of the nation. Citizens are left wondering what the future holds as the balance of power teeters precariously. The ongoing economic trade war and tariffs have had significant implications on the prices of food and other staples. This situation is not just a temporary inconvenience. It reflects a deeper, more systemic issue within the economy. The ripple effects of these economic policies are felt across various sectors, exacerbating the challenges faced by ordinary citizens and business owners alike. Factories and industrial areas are not immune to these pressures, with many struggling to keep up with the cost of raw materials. The nation's economic future remains uncertain, adding another layer to the already complex socio-political landscape. This economic uncertainty is not just a statistic. It's a reality for millions of people, shaping the very fabric of society. There are growing concerns about the possibility of serious civil disturbances. Across the nation, cities are witnessing an unprecedented wave of protests and demonstrations. The streets are now filled with the voices of citizens demanding change. The air is thick with tension as people from all walks of life come together to express their discontent. The perceived threat that democracy is being overturned has led to widespread unrest. Many feel that their voices are not being heard and their rights are being trampled upon. The banners and signs carried by protesters tell a story of a populace that is no longer willing to remain silent. Protests and demonstrations are becoming more frequent, and the potential for violent clashes is increasing, with confrontations between protesters and law enforcement becoming more common. As citizens take to the streets to voice their frustrations, the atmosphere is becoming increasingly charged. The sheer number of people participating in these protests is a testament to the widespread discontent. The sense of unease is palpable, with many fearing that the nation is on the brink of widespread civil conflict. The question on everyone's mind is how far this unrest will go and what the future holds. Economic disparities, racial injustices, and a growing divide between different segments of society have all contributed to the current state of unrest. These protests are not just about immediate political concerns, but are also a cry for a more equitable and just society. In the midst of this turmoil, the question remains, How will the nation navigate through this period of unprecedented challenges? The path forward is uncertain, and the stakes are incredibly high. The coming days and months will be crucial in determining the future direction of the nation, as it comes to terms with their democratic and constitutional rights being eroded further on a daily basis. Amidst this domestic turmoil, the USA is facing growing isolation on the world stage, as its fast-moving shift in foreign policy from peace and protection of allied nations to toleration of land grabs and invasions of sovereign nations. Aggressive actions from previously admonished dictatorships such as Russia, North Korea, China, and Iran. Diplomatic relations with other countries are becoming strained as disagreements and conflicts of interest come to the forefront. Tense diplomatic meetings are now more common, with diplomats often seen arguing in public and struggling to find common ground. Even handshakes between leaders are marked by tense expressions, reflecting the underlying friction. This growing isolation is impacting international cooperation. The ability to address global challenges effectively is being compromised. In crisis meeting rooms around the world, governments are now forming international teams to tackle issues without American participation. International allies are reconsidering their partnerships with the USA. News broadcasts around the world are covering the situation in the USA, and international newspapers are filled with headlines about the impact of America's reversal of foreign policy. The consequences of this isolation are profound and far-reaching. The global economy is feeling the strain, and international summits that once relied on American leadership are now proceeding without it. Subscribe for more travel tips.